Well done to everyone who's involved with the Make a Difference Awards. Now, the new Premier League season starts tonight. We'll look ahead in just a moment. But this week has also seen a new initiative in safeguarding. The issue of child protection in football, of course, has been prominent since revelations about the abuse carried out by the former coach Barry Bennell. That's almost a decade ago now that all that publicity was coming out. But one man who's worked for years to improve safeguarding, not just in football, but for all young people, is the former Manchester City and Liverpool striker Paul Stewart, who himself was a victim of abuse as a young player. Paul is behind the new Safeguarding Fundamentals quality mark for sports clubs. He's here. He's going to tell us more about it. It's good to see you, Paul. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me, Roger.
Just in a nutshell, tell us what this Safeguarding Fundamentals quality mark is.
Yes, what we're trying to do is encourage clubs to come on board, show us their commitment to safeguarding. We have 8 standards, whether it be a policy, safer recruitment, the training, come to us, shows us that they've done everything they possibly can to make the children safe at the organisation. And we want that displayed at their organisations, around the organisations, on the website. And we want it to act also as a deterrent. I want people to see that if an organisation has achieved the quality mark, then they're not going to be able to perpetrate any sort of abuse or bullying at the organisation. In fact, you know, it'll give parents as well, you know, sort of comfort that everything that possibly can be done to keep their child safe at that organisation has been done by achieving the quality mark.
And while there can be no guarantees in any context, as you say, it gives that reassurance, doesn't it? I mean, just the impact of what happened to you. I mean, I know you've talked about it before, but how did it impact you?
Well, I think my story has been well documented, but as I've said before, I mean, I think the impact of that, the abuse had on me long term was devastating. And it wasn't just me, but it affected my family as well, because when I told my story, they had to deal with the fact that, you know, when you look at parents, they thought that they'd let me down because they didn't look after me. My brothers felt guilty because I was the younger brother. So the impact actually reverberates through a whole family. So I've wanted to do something since I came forward, rather than that be something that defines me. I wanted to use my story to help others, and this is probably culminated in all the work that I've done, is probably something I'm really passionate about, because I want children to go to these organisations and flourish and enjoy it and feel safe. Yeah. And I think, you know, this quality mark will reassure parents, coaches, and, as I say, deter these individuals that are still out there and want to perpetrate the abuse. Will make them think twice of trying to infiltrate these organisations. And
you've had some fantastic support from your former football friends, Gary Lineker, Brian Robson, just in this part of the world, Peter Reid, Robbie Fowler, Ian Rush.
Yes.
It's almost like a who's who.
Do you know what? And I can't thank them enough, because I picked the phone up to them and they were unwavering in their support. And I think it's great that we have the old guard that when we played now really thinking about the youngsters that are coming through and wanting to make sure that they can enjoy the experience and flourish to the best of their ability.
Now, this kite mark, if you like, that you've come up with, you think is probably the first of its kind.
Yes.
Just in a nutshell, how can it doesn't have to be a sports club, it can be any club with young people involved. How can they get involved? How can they find out more?
Well, they go to the website, which is safeguardingfundamentals.com. We've made it very simple. I mean, my colleague Antonia, who's been a safeguarding specialist for a number of years, has made it as easy as possible for these companies and, these organisations to get involved in. They will send us the information. I think it's more that I want them to show us the commitment that they are committed to looking after the children at their organisation. So I want them to really say, we've got all this in place, let's get this mark and let's display it around our organisation and be proud to do so. But we will do checks. you know, and they won't know what checks we've done on them. There are 8 standards that we want them to achieve. And if they haven't got 8 standards in place, they don't need to worry. We'll help them to achieve that standard. And
in a word, excited about the start of the new football season? I suppose you always are, the Premier League season.
I always get excited about a football season. We've got Manchester United, I know, playing tonight here in Manchester. I mean, people will be anxious about it, I guess.
They will.
We've got City playing Chelsea. I think for me, City is still going to be the team that everybody's got to try and beat to achieve that.
Thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it, especially on a Friday evening, Paul.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks, Paul. Paul mentioned Manchester United. They are playing tonight. Let's go straight to Old Trafford. Richard Askham is there. The big season in the Premier League kicks off tonight, Rich.
It does, Roger. You can really feel the excitement as well.